Approximately 92 billion pounds of food is wasted by Americans each year. The immense amount of food wasted by Americans annually is worth more than Portugal's GDP. Worth $473 billion. Waste is a result of the need for product perfection. When shipping away produce, farmers must select the cream of the crop. No dents, no chips. Even the perfect pick gets cast aside after a sufficient amount is taken. The music and film industry can only dream to be this competitive. After the picking, trucks transport produce to warehouses or grocery stores miles away from the farm. Despite being transported in refrigerated trailers, some produce gets spoiled. After unloading and sorting, store workers line up grocery store shelves with the newly delivered goods, and their fate now lies in the hands of the consumer. Companies that want to stick around as long as possible must also appeal to as large of a market as possible. That's why there are categories upon categories for each food group. I mean, just eggs alone have standard white, standard brown, Nestle, free run, free range, organic, vitamin enhanced, vegetarian, and pasture raised. I mean, this is just from chickens. Don't even get me started on milk. You see the problem? There are too many options. Which is expected from capitalistic markets.
Yeah, whatever British narrator guy said.
Multiple options for products means more competition, which makes companies act in any way necessary to stand out. One of them is buying out as much shelf space as possible. The more shelf space occupied, the less they have to deal with said competition. While buying out more shelf space is better for market dominance, buying out more shelf space means shipping more food. And most, if not all, products are not bought up by consumers that easily. So what happens to all the food after that? Look, companies love preaching about how much they care about their community. But every good company must be prepared for everything. And I mean everything. Including a lawsuit from a homeless guy. I mean, just the idea of a lawsuit headed their way gets companies all hot and bothered. I know, right? You see this? Yeah. Very deadly.
This is a life.
Exactly. In the year 1996, however, Congress passed the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act, thus protecting donors from criminal liability. This protects anyone, including farmers, individuals, wholesalers, caterers, corporations, and whoever else decides to be a good soul. Basically, companies should have no excuse now, right? Right? Can you not interrupt me, you mouth? No, I won't. Donations are a more moral way of operating, but some tiny issues start popping up. There needs to be a great deal of planning. Things like where to store excess food, who to donate it to, and how to organize transportation had to be considered. This means spending extra time, money, and resources which companies are not willing to expend. According to Feeding America, 145 billion meals are thrown out by Americans each year. Ironically, 44 million Americans are left to starve. Most people with that information would say, "Oh no!" Anyway. But there are some who are trying to put a sizable dent in that terrifying number. Day by day, millions of food bank workers toil to ensure the food donated to them reaches struggling people. Thanks to non-profit organizations, 4.9 billion meals have been given to the food insecure. Through social media platforms, organizations like Feeding America have collaborated with content creators to not only spread awareness on food insecurity, but to also invite their viewers to take part in their acts of kindness, raising thousands to millions of dollars.
Food waste is a problem that can be minimized, if not diminished, if companies actually plan on combating this issue. Right now, they just donate to food banks and food pantries and announce it to the public like they did something. Like a child asking their parents to admire the scribbling they call art. What? Oh my god, you did this? This is amazing. I do not care. Food retail corporations have been around for decades, and the system they use is just as old. The same thing that they've been using for decades. Their selling and their distributing of unsold goods hasn't changed, and yet they're still reluctant to change the status quo. Many would defend this by saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But when the industry is wasting hundreds of billions of dollars each year, most would call that broken. It's ridiculous. While millions are struggling to afford a meal, execs sit in their company offices and pinch company pennies.
Food waste is a terrible problem that plagues our beautiful and very flawed world, and is an issue that I've grown more passionate towards solving. And you can't just see, say, and write those numbers without batting an eye. I mean, what really bothers me is that billions of pounds of food go to waste each year, and yet there are so many who are food insecure. I mean, according to the Food Research and Action Center, 12.8% of America is still food insecure. Now, that number might seem small, but that is more than all the countries in Europe combined. America has a problem that so many people are choosing to ignore. Kicking the can down the road is not even close to a solution, in my experience. We need to confront this problem head on. Otherwise, the problems of food waste will come back to haunt us, and then we will have to face the music. Thank you for watching.